5:30, and I would like to welcome our audience, our participants, our members for today's meeting. We're looking forward to a very special one because it's our own Chita who gives us the presentation. And we're looking forward to something very, very interesting, very special. And I think we should make sure that we stay muted, because this is all about audio and voice. And I think we want to make sure that what Chita is trying to demonstrate will work as perfectly as possible. So with that, welcome, Chita. I pass it on to Mike to make the announcements for this weekend and the events that are forthcoming. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eckhart. As usual, just a couple of notices before we hand the baton to Chita. First of all, so we're closing in on the end of our class season now with just 2 classes left. This Saturday, Christian is back with us. Can't wait for this. He'll be ripping the lid off Photos, which if you've upgraded your Mac or your iPad or your phone, you'll know Photos has undergone absolutely massive overhaul this past few months. And Christian will be deep diving into that to help you make sense of it all. So that's this Saturday's class, and we do hope that you'll join us for that. A little reminder that you can purchase NMUG classes retrospectively. So if you've joined us recently for some and think, gosh, I wish I hadn't missed those, you can pay for them, and you'll receive not just a link to the class, but also any handouts that our presenters have created for the class program. Next week's meeting, David Maguire is back with us. Haven't seen David for a little while. He's talking about Apple Care. Should be really fascinating because this befuddles me every time I buy a new piece of kit. And he'll be talking about Apple Care, when you really should pay for it, when you really don't need to pay for it. So I suspect probably quite an interesting meeting for absolutely all of our members. And that's same time, same place next Wednesday. Today, Chita is with us talking about Voice Memos app. I hope you've been taking those singing lessons that we discussed. With that, I'm just going to hit the stop share button and hand the meeting over to you. Thank you.
All right. Let me kill the suspense. I will not be subjecting you to that. Okay. That inner child is not coming out today. All right. So with that, let me say that there is probably going to be what I call trial by fire today, because I got several things going, and it's very interesting how I actually got all of this audio to play through my computer in the first place. So you're actually going to hear from my iPhone, and you're going to hear from my computer, and probably anything else you're going to hear from my AirPods. So we're hoping that all of this works fine. One thing that I will say, I will be using a QuickTime Player to display my iPhone because it gives a larger screen. What I've noticed, though, as I do this, is that QuickTime has a tendency to freeze. So sometimes I may have to restart QuickTime. It seems to be working well, though. I like the bigger screen, and I think in order to show you the bigger screen, I think the benefit is worth that little freezing. And with that, I think I'll start. All right, so I want to share my screen. Oh, if you have questions, put them in the chat. Mike and I will take a look at them. There is a handout. If you don't have the handout, it was just posted. Rick, thank you so much for doing that. It was posted in the chat, and people are helping me out today. They're putting it in the chat and knowing that I got so much going on. So thank you, my appreciation for that. All right, so with that, I'm going to share my screen. That's checked. All right, you see my screen now.
Yep.
All right, Mike, just in case, let me check this to make sure you hear this audio again before I even start.
Sure.
All right.
Yes, loud
Okay.
and clear. Thank you.
All right, one hurdle over. All right. Yeah, it was really interesting. All right, so everyone, I'm going to cover the Voice Memos app, and I think it is a really interesting app with some new features that were added recently. You can use the Voice Memos app on your iPhone, your iPad, your Mac, or your trusty dusty Apple Watch to create a recording, a personal note, or I don't know, sing into it. I haven't done that one yet, but after you create this recording, if you have iCloud synced and to the same Apple ID, you will see that recording show up on all of your devices, except the only recordings that will show up on the Apple Watch are the recordings that were made on the Apple Watch, and you cannot sync anything else to the Apple Watch. But all of this is useful. So with that, let's start. Some of the things you will see today are similar to what has been added to the Notes app, but there are some significant differences. So we're going to go with that. All right, let's start. I've given you an overview. And what you're looking at first is the Voice Memos app. I've opened it up from my Mac, and I've opened up the Voice Memos app on my iPhone. And there are some things that you're going to see sync as I go through this presentation. I want to definitely show you some settings that you need to be aware of once you, or even before you start making a recording. I think it's odd that this is the default, but it is the default anyway. So let's start with that. If you go to the settings in voicemail on your Mac, just go to voicemail, and we're going to go to settings. You'll see this. You have the option to select, first of all, when deleted recordings are cleared. You can choose 7 days, immediately, 1 day, 30 days, never. Your choice. But this is the one, I'm sorry, let me keep going. Audio quality. You can choose compressed or lossless. Obviously, compressed is going to compress that audio file and it won't be as quality as a lossless file. So you choose what type of audio file you want to create. And the one that is interesting is this one, location-based naming. With this checked, all of your audio files will be named with whatever location you're at. So your computer and your iPhone, they know where you are. And if you want your location based, if you want your files named based on your location, that's fine. But I didn't want my recordings named with my address. So I turned this off. Excuse me. And also on your iPhone settings, let's turn that and go all the way to apps. Go all the way to voice memos. And these are some of the settings you should be aware of as well, because most chances are you're going to use this app on your iPhone. Location, you can set the location, allow location access while using the app, never or ask. I've set mine to while using. Apple Intelligence and Siri, I'm going to skip over that. I'm going to skip over search. That's just if you want to see the voice memos on your search. Background app refresh, I turn that off for practically all of my apps so that they won't drain my batteries. Cellular data, yes, I can select what language I want it to use. Here, clear after 7 days. You have the same options. You can clear immediately after 7 days, 30 or never. Audio quality, same. Location-based naming, I turned that off on my iPhone. And one setting that you do not have on your computer is whether or not you want to record in stereo, which I thought is really interesting. You can record in stereo because the iPhone has so many mics. It will actually record left and right channel, so you can hear that. I'm not an audiophile, so I haven't really tested that out yet, but it's interesting that you have that option. All right, so with that, I'm going to go back to settings. Anyone have any questions about settings as of right now?
Nothing in chat. Oh, one's just appeared from Melissa. Melissa, would you like to unmute and fire away?
Hi, Chita. There are several times when I've updated my iOS, it seems that factory settings have been reset. And, there's lots of apps on my devices. Do you know that factory reset will change these settings in voice memos? And so we would periodically want to come back and double check what our preferred settings are?
It doesn't hurt to go back and check after any type of update because updates can do that sometimes. So just go back and check before you start a recording. That's the best answer I can give you.
Billy McKee has a question that I don't quite understand. Sorry, Billy, would you like to unmute and just ask that question?
Yeah. I've got an iPhone running iOS 18 in front of me, and I've just brought up the app and I've put a couple of recordings on, but I don't see any of the voice memo.
Do you have a 18.3.1, I believe, or the latest, at least 18.2? And do you have an iPhone 16 Pro or Pro Max?
Not a Pro, or sorry, my apologies.
That's why you don't see them.
So
I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Sorry.
Actually,
All right.
All right.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start by creating a recording. And in your handout, it says naming a recording, but I'm going to start by creating. Here you see in both instances on my computer and on the iPhone, you see all recordings, favorites, watch recordings, recently deleted, and then you have my folders that I've created. Pretty easy to create a recording. I'm going to go in to instrumental, and I am going to just press this button, and I'm going to start talking. You see the waveform appear. And with this waveform, it's indicating like your voice intensity. You can speak really low, you can speak higher, you can do whatever you need to do in order to create your recording. So I'm going to pause. Now and you see both new recordings show up on my computer as well. When you create a recording, when you have turned off location-based naming, you have your new recording. I'm just going to tap it, and I'm going to name it NMUG test. All right. Simple as that. And if I play it, and I'm going to start talking, you see the waveform appear. And with this waveform, it's indicating like your voice intensity. You can speak really low, you can speak higher. All right, you get that. You heard that?
yes.
Okay, great. Right, now that you have your recording, let's say I opened up the instrumental folder. This is not an instrumental recording. I want to organize it so that it is in another folder. I can do this several ways. On the iPhone, I can tap the More, and I can select Share. I'm sorry. I can select Move to Folder.